All right. So, hey, everybody, and welcome to the Solidity Insurance Group team call. My name's Marisa Maggio, and today is already May 29th of 2025. So we're about to be going into the second half of the year, which is super exciting. I know I say this every week, but I really do each and every week sit back and think, like, who could we hear from that would actually be able to take actionable steps when you hop off the call, and it's going to feel like, something changed. And what I mean by that is in sales, it's typically the small things that change everything. And today we have a very special guest on with us today, somebody who's near and dear to my heart in this industry, who I've seen just kill it in the field, kill it building a team, has a, forward mindset, never a backwards mindset. And she's absolutely crushing it this year. So we have Karyn Giles on with us today. How you doing, Karyn?
Amazing. How are you guys?
Doing awesome. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to be on. I don't take it lightly at all. But hey, so guys, we call Karyn KG for short. That's her nickname. So that's what I'm going to be calling her the whole time, just so you guys are rocking with me. But KG, for those people out there that haven't had the chance to meet you, tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of what you were doing before Family First Life, and what kind of got you involved in the industry, and why here?
Absolutely. So, hello, everyone. Guys, thank you for having me on. I absolutely love your team. Y'all have taught me so much, okay, that I've been able to use and grow. And I'm just excited to be a part of this call today. So, as far as me, I've been here for a little over a decade as far as the insurance world. I've been with FFL for about 5 years. And I am a mom. I have a 9-year-old. And just before insurance period, I was just a go-getter in the wrong vehicle, right? I was working 5 jobs, two, 3 jobs, 7 days a week. I was a bartender, cook, running clubs, nightclubs, restaurants, opening them. I was doing all types of stuff in the hospitality field. And while I loved serving people, it what my income didn't match, right? I was in the wrong vehicle. I was hustling, bustling, but the money wasn't adding up. And so I always wanted to be on the other side of that bar. I always wanted to be like, what career can I take where I can enjoy my family time, enjoy my time, enjoy being served while still serving others, right? And so I thought my ticket was going to be someone finding me at the restaurant, right, and giving me an opportunity. But turns out that's not how that works. You have to go out and you have to seek and find and talk to people and take an opportunity yourself. So, well, actually, I was referred by 4 different people to the insurance industry in the practice company, and I was there 6 years too long. So, yes, it does matter where you sell insurance because I was trying to sell insurance in a company that had no leads. We were just always told to recruit, 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 and the sales will appear. Just like that opportunity, it never happened. And so while I won trips, I got awards, I recruited at high levels, I made some money. It just wasn't the game changer that was going to take me to the next level. And so I went through this period where I got kind of scared because insurance started to leave my heart, right? I was like, I've been doing this for 6 years. I've been giving it my all. Like, I can't believe I've gotten to this point where I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm not happy, right? And when you're not happy, you don't give everything 100%. So I went back to bartending, right, after 6 years. And I went through a bunch of crap. They took my team from me. I just don't ever go with a company that has a contract. Stay here.
Facts.
so, I bartended for maybe about a couple of months. Still wasn't happy, but I had to because my car was about to be taken. I had a baby to take care of. I had bills, right? And so I walked through the doors one day and COVID happened. And I was like, whoa, this is like a movie, right? Now I don't have any options. I really couldn't see my way out of where I was, right? And so my upline, Kali, ended up reaching out to me and she just asked me a simple question. She was like, what are you doing right now? And I was like, I'm bartending. She was like, you went back to work? And I was like, yeah. She was like, you need to come check out what we're doing. Now, for 9 months, I told her no. So what does that tell you? If you're planting the seeds and you're getting a no, it's not no forever. It's just no, not right now. Sometimes people have to have a situation happen to them in order to know which direction they need to go in. For example, sometimes people just need to put the cheeseburger down when they find out they have diabetes, right? I was that person. COVID happened. They shut down the bars. I didn't want to go to the practice company. I needed an opportunity, right? Perfect timing. I was like, you know what? I don't have anything else going on. Okay. I made Panera Bread my office. I was like, I'm going to crush this thing. It took me forever to get contracted. It seemed like we have the best. We have the best system now, but in the beginning, it was a little different. It was a little rough, right? So
Right.
it took me a little over a month to get contracted. But once I did, and keep in mind, I had no idea what I was doing. So I'm talking to the newest person on this call. I had no idea. I went from selling one product, even though I was in the insurance industry for 6 years. I literally went from selling one product. I've never been taught sales. It was almost like I had to start over and be a new agent. To a bunch of different companies, a bunch of different products. And I'm not the type of person that has to learn everything first. I'm like, just tell me what to do, right? I see people winning at a high level. I see people making money. Just tell me what to do. If you're there to help me, I'm going to call for your help and let's do it, right? Well, that's what I did. It was pretty rough in the beginning because I was not coachable for like a very short period of time. So if you're on this call and you're not listening to the person who's training you, please listen. Your pockets will definitely be happy when you start. And at that time, we were in the field, and so I was not calling when I was in the home. I was not getting feedback from my trainer. I wasn't getting better. Everybody was saying, "Hey, just come back and see me. Come back and see me," and they never would buy. And I was like, "Okay, I'm doing something wrong. Something has to change." Anyway, after that tough conversation with my business partner, my trainer, I started becoming coachable in my first month. And when I say first month, I mean like my real first month, where I decided to follow the system. I did 5 grand, still didn't know what I was doing. Second month, I made 8 grand, still didn't know what I was doing, but I was getting there. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see some flowers pop out the ground, right?
Right.
And then the third month, I did 16 grand, and I was like, whoa. First of all, let's take it back. I've never even seen 5 grand in my account. Okay. So to see 16 grand, and I was playing the fence a little bit, right? So once I made 16, I'm like, everybody has to know about this. I'm ready to build. I'm ready to tell the world about it. I sent a letter to the practice company to terminate my contract ASAP. And then from then on, and then this is with 4 to 5 year old leads. Okay. So if you're at a spot right now where you don't have the money to buy high intent leads and you can maybe only start with the bronze, mines were worse than the bronze. Okay. Mines were 4 to 5 years old. Okay. And they were paper leads and I had to go see these people. Okay. So, yeah, for 6 months, Mike File gave me leads because I was broke. And he was like, here. And they had been murdered by other agents. But I did 181,000 my first 6 months.
That's
And
awesome.
then I've been climbing the ladder ever since. Anywhere from like 1, then to 2. And then last convention, the one that just passed, over 300,000.
Let's
So
go.
yeah. So, and guys, I'm still learning. And so you're not going to know everything. I'm still getting better. I still make mistakes. But I think a leader is somebody who can make adjustments very quickly. And then to stay positive, even when you can't see a way out. And even when things don't, even when things don't look the way you want them to look, or if your funds are low, right? Because out of every moment of adversity along my path, the one thing I could count on and believe in was myself. I knew that I was like, you know what, regardless, I'm going to go to work. I had been chargebacks. I put my head down and went to work and got through them. I had adversity from family members and loved ones or friends, right? You don't spend time with me. You don't call me. You making all this money. That I put my head down, still going to work, right? Because once you're making money and you're making a lot of it, people become very silent. I don't hear those people anymore. There's no more noise. It's
That's good.
how can I work with you? Or hey, I know somebody that would be a good fit in your business. So
I love that. And honestly, guys, it's like if you're sitting here, like KG said, like she's talking to that new agent right now, like that opening, it's like wild because I always say, and KG, I had a practice company too, pretty similar, if we
I
can,
remember, yeah.
say they kind of mesh a little bit together. But guys, it's like you go from, I always say, the Honda with no parts into like the brand new Cadillac. And some of us don't realize we're sitting in the Cadillac if we never sat in the Honda with no parts. So it's like what KG's saying is I've been in insurance for a decade, but those first 6 years, I was in the wrong vehicle. I was working, but I was in the wrong vehicle. I found the right vehicle, but it took me time. And I love how you said Kali reached out to you and you were like, no. And you were like, as you can basically see, it wasn't a no, it was just a not right now. So it's like, guys,
Mm-hmm.
when you're reaching out to those people, it's like, it needs to be their time. Like KG needed to do that on her time, or it's never going to sit right with her, right? Like in her heart. And I love how you said, this got me because it's so true. You said some of you guys complain about bronze leads. I was working 4 to 5 year old leads and I was making it happen. Now, she talked about her first month, like her first real month. And I love how you also said that my real month when I followed the system and became coachable. Because, guys, until you're coachable, it's like, don't even consider yourself started. Because, like, no one ever woke up and was just like, wow, I could just know how to do this thing at a crazy high level that you is duplicatable and teachable. But, guys, it's duplicatable and teachable. You have to be willing to learn it, willing to take feedback. And just like how KG was saying, like guilty is charged, by the way, over here too, for not always calling from the home. When we were in the home face to face, guys, we could get away with like, oh, we're just not going to call anybody for help, even though I need to think about it 14 times. First of all, that makes no sense. Second of all, over time, you're going to adapt and be like, I need to call somebody about this. I need to ask for help. But a lot of us are doing that right now in telesales, in the dial room. We're not unmuting. And then we're like, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on either because we can't hear you. And like, I love y'all, but it's like, guys, that's the part where we have to get uncomfortable now in telesales. It's the same part where I used to be told to record myself in the home, call when I got out of the home, and then listen to the recording on the way to my next house. You know what it feels like to listen to your own voice back? Not that good, but it will give you really quick correction, right? Um, and then essentially knowing you can count on yourself. I think that that's huge. Once you have that self-belief that like I'm gonna make it happen, like that conviction of I know, like I know, like I know, there's nothing that can stop you except you. So KG, thank you for that strong opening and also just shedding a lot of insight on the system, what things look like, what they could look like. And, I'm just really happy to see that you're sitting in a better seat now. Um, Now, one thing you did mention is you are a mom, and I love seeing that, by the way. I love seeing your posts. It's awesome. But I can also see that you're great at essentially, separating, when you're working, it seems like you're working. And, when you're with your family, it seems like you're with your family, as it should be. Talk to us a little bit about that. Like when you were getting started, how did you have those conversations?
Well, first, that's why I wanted to make money very quickly because I knew as a mom doing it on my own, I was going to need help, right? And for me, your family belief is through your work ethic and what you do day to day and your habits, right? And so I know if my family saw me out all the time, hanging out with the old crowd, just not doing any income producing activities, not bringing home any money, not closing any sales, right? Complaining all the time, they wouldn't be excited to help me, right? So I never brought my issues home. I still don't, right? I put that smile on my face, like everything's okay. It's going to work out. It's going to work out. And it has, right? Even when I thought it didn't, right? But that, and then anytime they try to reach out to me for things like can you take me down the street? Can you do this for me? Throughout when I'm supposed to be dialing, no, I'm working. So I wanted them to take it just as serious as I was, right? So I didn't allow them to cut into my dial time or cut into the times where, I'm supposed to be working. Um, and then, little times here and there, uh, being accountable to myself where I can meet my income goals, right? And then when I met those goals, to reward myself to be able to spend time and do the things that I like with my family. That way they can see like, wow, she's serious about this. She's working. She's not playing about it, right? She's not even hanging out with her old friends anymore. She's not even doing all the things that she used to do, right? She's taking this very seriously, but most important, she cares about us enough to spend time and money on us, right? And so that right there, it's like now everybody's trying to figure out how they can help, right? So anytime I'm traveling or doing anything, it's like, hey, I'll watch, your son, I'll watch the dog, I'll do, and then I can pay them to do it, right?
Right. And they know you're
So
about it because they have seen you do it, right? For so long now.
they're
It's
reposting
like,
my stuff on social media and everything. You know what I mean? So
yeah, like talk about supportive, right? Like, and that's kind of what you need, right? Like, it's like if you felt like your family was against you or mad at you or you felt guilt, it's going to be a lot harder to get through your day, right?
yes.
Yeah. So I love how you said that, like, like, you had you have an income goal. When you hit that income goal, like you'll go spend time with your family, you'll do something fun with your family, and you're showing them like I am making money and providing for us, and also I want to spend time and money with us. That's why I have to dismiss myself at times. So I think that that's
Hmm.
really strong, and especially having like a child and them being able to comprehend that, I think is a beautiful thing. So I love that.
Yes.
Now, if I had to pick like one thing, and this would be like really hard for me to pick, by the way, like, but if I had to say like this is the number one thing that like KG is amazing at, dude, every time I hear you on the phone, I'm like, yo, like this is a phone clinic. Like, listen to her. Like, because what I mean by that, guys, is like KG said, some of you guys are out there complaining about, oh, I'm working a lead that is aged, it's this, it's that, it's KG was dialing people that were 7 years back on a mailer form that they're like, I don't even write like that anymore. They're like, Doris isn't with us anymore, right? Like those are real things that happen, guys, in 7 years on a paper mailer lead. Now, till this day, KG, do you purchase aged leads at times?
I do. I got about 300 sitting in front of me, mixed in with my vet leads, mixed in with mortgage protection leads.
Talk to us a little bit about that and why you set your lead flow up that way.
So I set my lead flow up that way because number one, I know that the higher intent leads, they do cost a little bit more, right? And so I buy like a little batch from each one. So like I'll do a 20-30 pack from the vets. I'll do a 20-30 pack from the mortgage protection. And then I'll do the bulk of them. I'll do like age leads, like, like the bronze. I still do the bronze leads. So let's say the bronze leads, right? And so what that does is it gives me an opportunity to always be on the phone because I crush the phone so hard. It's easy for me to blow through a 20-30 pack like in a couple days. You
Right, right. And then you're
know
like,
what I
what do I
mean?
have to dial? So you want that bigger volume.
Exactly. But also too, just a higher return. I'm really, really good at the old leads. But the reason why I work them is to constantly let my team and other people know these leads work, right? I can't teach you, you know what I mean? I don't want to be able to say to do something and I'm not doing it myself, right? So I throw them in the mix because, and then also too, I had a conversation with Harold. I don't know if you know who that is. He runs
Yeah, Durana.
yeah, he runs the
Yeah.
age. That's the only reason why I jumped back into, bronze leads and went back because he runs the age mortgage mailers. And I was like, the heck am I doing? Just running all high intent. I should mix it in. I mean, if he's crushing it and he's up on stage and he's like one of the top in the company, why wouldn't I add that to my mix? The only reason why it doesn't work is if you don't work them. And the only reason why it doesn't work is if you don't focus on getting better and staying close to the people who have the money and the numbers that you want and the lifestyle that you want. I love the fact that, along the journey, I've been able to get from you patience on the phone, but then also from Rami, I'm able to get, a lot of objections, different styles of objections that I never had in my arsenal. I could add to them. So I like that. I'm gonna say it. I like that. I'm gonna say it. I get something from every leader, and it's amazing because what I've done is I'm just a ball of a bunch of leaders who've said a lot of great things, and I have used them for myself. That's it. Everything you're hearing today is just a collection of what leaders who have what I want are saying, and I am using it. I am taking that info and using it as my own. On top of that, I'm being relatable and I'm finding out very quickly with the right type of questions what the person wants on the other side of the phone, whether it be a person that wants to join you in business, need to figure out why you want to do this and what you're trying to get. If I can help you get what you want, I get what I want. We both win. We both eat. But if it's a client on the other line, I need to quickly find out why they filled this out so that I know if they're just pulling my leg because they were bored one day looking for quotes and they're never going to do anything, or if there's somebody that just lost a loved one. And like, let me give you an example. Last night, I didn't get off the phone until about 9:30. My last client was a vet. He spoke with three other agents before me who all gave him life insurance, signed him up, and never called him back. I said, did anything come out of your account? He's like, no. I'm like, did you ever get a packet in the mail? He's like, no. I said, is it safe to say you don't have insurance? He's like, yep, I would believe it. I mean, he even told me he was paying $150 a month. If I did not dig deeper, I would have been one of those agents that, that left him, that said, thought he was good in gold. He has 5 daughters, a bunch of grandchildren. Everyone loves him, right? So when I dug deeper, I found out, number one, he didn't have any insurance. He wasn't paying 150 like he thought he was. He didn't have any proof, right? But then two, he kept getting denied. I went through 4 companies and he kept getting denied. I said, look, it's something going on. I did one company that gave me the medications that were popping up for congestive heart failure. Guess what? Not a problem. I jumped on FaceTime with him. I helped him sign the policy with Transamerica and got him approved with immediate coverage with Express Select through Trans.
Let's go.
Like,
Just from asking the right questions from the beginning
yes,
of the phone call. So real quick,
correct.
KG, bring us back to that call. Like talk to it. Like, so is this like an age lead or a newer lead?
Well, this was a vet lead, but I did
Okay.
have to keep in mind when you're calling a new and high intent lead, you're going to have to call those leads and you're also going to have to handle those clients and handle those objections just as strong as you would if you would had to do a bronze lead, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Some older leads that were $1 where they're like, yeah, no one called me and they're just ready to go. They don't need a pitch. They don't need the shebang. They just want it and they want you to help them, right? But this guy was so afraid. And this is because of what had happened to him in the past. He's talked with, so he didn't think I could help him, right?
Right.
And
He
then
had
me
3
jump
bad experience.
3 bad experiences, right? And then on top of that, he's getting denied from the carriers that I'm trying to put him with. And in my mind, I'm like, no, I'm the expert. I'm the best that's out there. Guys, when you believe it and act like it, it manifests into whatever you're trying to do in that current situation. So I told him, I said, listen, I'm going to treat you like you were my own father. I went through the same thing with my dad, and I lost him 2 years ago. FYI, tell a story, right? And he was Army too, right? But one thing I didn't give up on was my dad. And when he passed, my policy was the only one that paid out. We're going to get you covered just like I got my dad covered. And so instantly, I could hear it in his voice, like the trust. Yes, I said, I don't care if we go till 10 o'clock tonight. I'm finding you coverage. Do you understand? He said, yes. And then when we got on the FaceTime, my son got in and said hi. His grandson was in there and said hi. And we just really made it like, it was great. Like, that's a client for life, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. And like, just like you said, if you didn't ask better questions when you're on the phone, you wouldn't have got there. If he was just like, I pay 150 a month, and you were like, with what company so I can close your file? And he's like, um, I'm not really sure, but I got it. And you're like, okay, sure. All right. Have a great day. Boom. He might have never got insurance. Like there's a very high probability that he would have never got insurance, but you care enough to ask more questions. Now, when you're dialing on any lead, because just like you said, you brought up a great point, guys. I want to be very clear if I wasn't already, whether they're age, they're new, they're retro, they're in the middle, I don't know, they're week old, it don't matter, okay? People are still going to give you objections. People are people, period, right? Like KG got a new lead. He probably filled out 3 forms that had nothing to do with like, where KG got her lead from. And then boom, filled it out. KG cares. She related. She told a story. He trusts her. He's on the phone with her. They get him coverage. Boom, she's good to go. But what we have to realize is we're going to get objections and rebuttals basically no matter where we go. No matter, like, that's our job, guys, is to be able to overcome those. Now, when you're dialing, what would you say is the biggest thing that you get on the phone in terms of like an objection when you're just calling?
Oh shoot, I get a lot.
I know it. Now it's like there's quite a few at the
Oh,
beginning.
when I'm calling the older leads, it's I don't remember filling this out.
Okay. And
Okay.
so can we role play?
We sure can.
All right, cool.
All right. So I'm calling you.
Yeah.
Ring, ring, ring. Hi,
Hello.
Marissa.
Yeah,
How you doing today?
I'm good.
Awesome, awesome. My name is Karyn. I'm the head underwriter and broker for the state of Maryland and the final expense department. I just found some time to get back to you. It looks like my office reached out some time ago. You were busy when they called. It was about that request you put in for more information on the state regulated life insurance programs. I have your email as 123 Main Street at gmail.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I don't remember doing that.
I completely understand. I know it was some time ago. Now, do you remember shopping around for life insurance quotes online at one point?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
I got you. Am I the first person you've been able to talk to about this, or are you still shopping around?
No, like quite a few people just keep calling me. So yeah, I think I'm good.
I got you. When you say you're good, did you already get that taken care of, or did you not see a price that you were looking for and just gave up? Like,
Yeah, I haven't really been able to like go over it. I'm just really busy.
no, I completely understand. I know me too. So many people are they're looking for life insurance. It's a crazy world we live in today. Let me ask you, do you have any life insurance at all that would at least cover your final arrangement?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, and let me ask you a quick question off the record. All right. Can I kind of talk to you like you're a family member or a loved one?
Yeah.
Real quick, I know you're busy. If you knew when you were going to pass away, would you still put this off? Like if you knew the exact date?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. So I know that you're very, very busy. This only takes about 10 to 15 minutes. Did I catch you at a good time?
I'm at work right now.
I understand. What time are you home and settled in?
By 5 latest.
Okay. And when you were you shopping around just for yourself or for you and a spouse?
Just for myself.
Just for yourself. Okay. Are you married?
No.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. And you said what time are you home and settled in again?
5 latest.
Five latest? Okay. You want to do 5:30 just to be on the safe side?
Yeah, that works good.
Okay. So let's do 5:30. Again, it just takes about 10 to 15 minutes. I only want to do something if it's going to make sense for your family. But if we can't find something that makes sense, you never have to talk to me again. Okay. But I want to get this out to you before we close out your file. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair for sure.
Okay, perfect. Now, is there any reason you would not be able to take my call at 5:30?
No, I'll be there.
Okay. And can you receive text messages on your phone?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to send over my credentials so you know I'm not a crazy person out here, okay? That
All
I'm a
right.
licensed professional here to help you, all right?
Okay, great.
Okay, I have you set up for what time?
5 o'clock, 5:30.
5:30. There we go. I got you. Talk to you then, okay?
All right, take care.
All right.
Okay, so like if that was like a real call, like I'm answering. You know why? Because I already feel like you care about me and my family. You were like just straight up, like guard down, like, hey, can I talk to you real quick? Like you're a family member. Like, if you knew when you were gonna die, would you hold this off? Guys, that's a powerful question and one I definitely don't ask enough. That's fire. Guys, that right there alone, it's like that keeps people on the phone. Like that's really good. And like you're not like swaying it this way or that way. You're just like straight up like, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" Like, and if the person hung up on you, like are you like crying about it or are you just going to the next person?
Are we going to the next? Because
Right?
the longer you sit and worry about the person that hung up on you is the farthest from the client that needs your help and that's ready for you to close them.
That's right.
People don't
Absolutely.
care how much you know until they know how much you care. If they don't buy the product, they buy you.
Exactly. Yep, if they don't like you, they don't trust you, like game over. Like that's it. And KG, we always talked about like at least when we were in the field, we talked about how the biggest issues in the script or where we get the biggest hang up or rebuttal, it's at the introduction, right? We get that kickback. Like I don't remember that. I didn't fill that out. And when people are doing that, you're just like, "Hey, I hear you. It was a while back. You were looking up some life insurance quotes, like basically all good. You remember doing that." And you're like, it's very matter of fact. Guys, if you
Mm-hmm.
can just be very matter of fact and just be honest with the person and don't worry about putting on like a show, right? Like you're just being you. Hey, can I ask you a
Yeah.
question? Like, but if you weren't being you, you would probably be high anxiety, like, hey, can I ask you a question? And then it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, you can't. You definitely can't now. You know what I mean? Like, definitely not now with that tonality, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
in the second place, I feel like we usually see that is in terms of telesales is if we're scheduling an appointment or the person's not available. And from what I can see with UKG, you don't really schedule appointments. You're just kind of like, what time are you there? And you're putting them in your calendar. But like, are you like betting 100% like, oh, tonight Marisa at 5:30? Are you like betting on like they're definitely gonna answer no matter what?
Nope, not at all. So I'm booking like they're not going to be there. If you look
Yep.
at my calendar right now, I got a bunch of appointments in the red. but I got some greens in there, right? Because it's the numbers business. Business is numbers and system.
Mhm.
What
And
system
KJ,
are you following? And yeah,
no, you're good. I like that. Numbers and
go ahead.
system. What system are you following?
So the
Right?
system
Like,
of smiling and dialing, and when I get an appointment, I'm talking to them on the phone. That's all the business is, right? If you
right,
have no appointments and you have nobody to talk to and you don't have any leads, you're not following the system, right?
correct.
And then I know it's a numbers business, right? It's well, when we were in the field, if because I know like 2% of people are still in the field, we knew that 50% of your appointments are not going to hold. So I always like to put it in my favor. When I was in the field, I was booking 15 appointments in a day, every run day, right? Which allowed me to see more families to meet my quota every day in the field. But now that we're on telesales, it takes a lot more appointments. You got to have at least 20 or more appointments for you to even have the same results as if you were in the field. So I know that 70% of people on telesales, they're not going to answer. Like I had a fully booked calendar yesterday and I did 4,800, but a lot of those appointment slots were red. But the cool
Right.
part is I had appointments booked, but when they didn't show, I went right to my spreadsheet and also my dollar system, and I started dialing clients again. So that I'm by the time I looked up, I was like, oh my god, it's over 9 o'clock. The whole day done went past. Okay, and keep in mind,
Right.
I'm not just doing that, right? I'm here like because of my like not situation, but my mom was retired. Then she went. Now she's like she picked up this like little job that ends in July with the same company who asked her to just kind of do some extensive work. And so she has to go in the office 3 days a week. So like she used to pick up my son at that time. So now I've hired somebody to pick him up. Like, and I set an hour in the middle of the day that while I'm taking my lunch, I'm also cooking dinner if I haven't meal prepped on Sunday. I got a very busy life, right? As a mom, making sure he's straight. I'm doing his homework while I'm on the phone with clients. I let him say hi just so that, they trust me. Like, oh my gosh, she's got her son on the phone. Yeah, I'm not weird. Like, I'm a real person. And then when I'm talking to them on the phone too, before I even get started, if I'm talking to some of the older clients that maybe are on Social Security, maybe they don't really have a fancy income like some people where we're doing IULs and whatnot. Hey, I don't know about you, but budget is boss in my house. Is it that way in your house? And they're like, girl, yes, it is. And I'm like, no
Love
problem.
that.
I get it. If anyone understands, I do. My job is to help you find something that's going to make sense. Um, yeah, I got that from somebody too, and I was like, I'm going to use that. Budget is boss in my house. Okay,
I was gonna
got
say
it.
that's a fire one-liner for sure. And
Thanks.
it's like relatable to a lot of our clientele. And that's what we're
Yeah,
trying to do is be relatable, right? It's like we want
yeah,
them to see we're just people too, guys, because that's all we are. I love how you said smiling and dialing. Okay. Guys, there's a lot of like psychology and mind work that goes behind smiling and dialing is a real thing. If you want to test it, be my guest. Just next time you're in a bad mood, pick the phone up and let me know how it goes. It's not going to go good. Like you got to convince yourself that you're like, even if you wake up and you're like, oh, like my life is hard. Okay, we're all having our own kind of hard. I just want you to know that, like all of us, okay? But like if you get on the phone and you bring that to work, just like if you were a doctor, you can't bring that to work. You're about to go do surgery, you can't bring that to work. Like you're about to risk someone's life. It might sound silly, but we're about to risk somebody's financial life. And that's how you got to think about it, guys. So when you show up, like you're smiling and dialing, people can hear you over the phone. The way that you look also dictates your tonality. Some of y'all will see me on Zoom and I'm like on the phone with somebody. Like that usually means they're saying something wild, like, but I catch my body language, right? I catch when I try to cop an attitude with somebody, and maybe it ain't the time you have to cop an attitude. It's just time to bring them down. But guys, it's like if you're not smiling about it, I can tell you right now, like especially woman to woman, like people are going to think you're being rude or you're just being nasty and they're just not going to like you. So don't do it. I did it going from in the field to telesales. I was big on like kind of being mean on the phone and then being like a blessing in the house. And like that worked for me. But it became really difficult when we had to be everything on the phone. So smiling and dialing is huge. And then when you do have appointments set, instead of sitting there feeling bad for yourself and be like, oh my God, my 8:30 no showed me. And like I talked to her last night at 9:30 and she said there was no reason she missed the call. Well, guess what? She missed the Susie missed the call. So what are you going to do? Are you going to dwell on it? Or are you going to dial? Because that was also a big issue for me going from in the field to telesales. I was like, oh, I got 20 appointments. So I'm just going to call my 20 appointments and sit here. It's like, no, dude, you need to be dialing in between those appointments. Get your reps in, get your dials in, or you will not get your activity in, period. End of story. Now, kind of with that being said, KG, for those people out there that are like, okay, we hear activity, we hear system, we hear leads, we hear this, we hear that. How many dials in a day should somebody be making, in your opinion, or how many talks should they be having? How do you view activity in the business?
I think for every 50 leads, you should be at least doing one or two a solid appointments. I think that you should be doing at least 300 dials or more a day. Um, you should have at least 10 appointments or more for the next day. So how I set my day up is when I'm dialing, and my goal is always a one call close, unless I'm doing like a funded IUL or an annuity, right? Then they get that second appointment after the discovery. But 10 appointments, and then in between those appointments, because we know most of them are not going to hold, I'm also dialing and going for a one call close and booking for the next day. So every day I have over 10 appointments. Each day I'm dialing, but every week I'm buying leads twice a week. So that, and to be very transparent, I've had one of the roughest couple of weeks in these last couple weeks, right? And I dropped some money on some leads and it didn't pan out the way that it was supposed to. But one thing I can tell you, you got to put the foot on the gas pedal. I've been here before in this situation because I've been here before and I got out of it by working harder than I would normally have to do when things are going right. Boom, you're going to get out of that situation faster than slower or never even coming out if you decide not to put the foot to the gas. But leads are always going to be the answer. And that's why we mix in these older leads because you need people to, the name of the game is how many people you can get on the phone. And the only way to do that is by having an influx of leads.
Absolutely. And like, guys, like if you want like the secret, right? Like there's like a secret. It's like the secret is like whoever has the most leads wins. Like put yourself in a situation for that to be you. Just like KG saying she buys leads twice a week. I bet you'll buy them 3 times a week if you have to, if you feel like that's what's going to work for your flow, right? And I love how you're not too proud to get on here. Like, guys, you perform at like, what did you write like last month, KG?
Last month, oh, I haven't looked at my numbers. I need to look at them too because I keep myself accountable with corporate now, so I can make sure I'm on track for the red jacket. Last month, I know I got my bonus. Was it?
Okay.
Yeah, I know I got my bonus. I think it was 37.
Okay, so
So I don't
close
know if
to
that was
40.
close to
Close to
40.
40. And like, I love how you said, like, I had a rough week. Not because I want you to have a rough week, dude, but because like we all have them. But you're like, I've been here before. I've had a rough week in this business before, right? And like, I know what happens. I know what happens if I don't work. I'm just going to become more screwed, right? Just to be really blatantly honest, guys. And I know what happens if I just put my foot on the gas, put my emotion to the side for a moment, put my smile on and just start dialing and getting to work. I know what that looks like, right? And like when when you've experienced it, it's a little bit different than when you don't know, when you haven't experienced it yet. So like let
Mm-hmm.
our hindsight be your foresight. Like guys, if you feel like you're in a rut, you feel like you're having a bad week. The great thing about this business, we always say you can't have a bad day. You can have a bad day. It's tough to have a bad week, but you can have one. But it's really tough to have a bad month if you're working and your foot's on the gas. And basically, KG, that's what I hear you saying is like, hey, I'm having a tough month, but my foot's still on the gas. I'm not changing my lead flow unless it's for an influx of leads. I know it's going to come. I know I have to just keep my foot on the gas and everything will work out. And it's funny because like, I'm sure you can relate, you go like, oh, like, you write like nobody and you talk to 10 people and you're like, I'd be like second guessing myself. I'm like, I'm just like, at the end of the night, I'm like, shouldn't sell insurance. I just am terrible at it. Right. And then you wake up the next day and you're doing your reps and you go 10-0. It's like, but you just got to keep going. And sometimes
Show
it guys,
out.
yeah, you got to just show up and show out like it didn't
Mm-hmm.
happen. And the best thing about this business is every day you get to reset, you know? So I love that. And I love how you just break everything down just realistically. It's like, guys, all we're doing here is calling people who ask for our help and making sure they're in a good situation. Because just like how KG shared that one example of the gentleman she talked to just last night, I can tell you right now that's not the only time she's bumped into that. It's not the only time I bumped into that. And there's a lot of people out there who have policies and they simply don't know what they are. Or, like KG's example, they don't even have a policy because whoever they talk to didn't even call them to be like, hey, you got declined and I can't get you anything else. Or didn't care enough to try and keep going with that person or couldn't because they're captive, right? There's a lot of different reasons, but if we don't pull it out and show people we care, it's going to make it that much more difficult on us. So make your job easier by asking difficult questions. Yeah, they're difficult to ask, sure. But it's like none of those questions that KG asked me were offensive. They actually made me be like, oh, I would trust this girl. Wow, like she actually cares. Unlike the other four people I talked to prior who were just like, oh, you got the life insurance? Great, bye. Okay, bye. It's like, so guys, dig in. Don't be scared to get hung up on. I'd rather get hung up on 2.5 minutes in than hang up in 30 seconds and be like, oh, I could have done something a little bit better.